All right, folks, hold on to your hats because today we're talking about a penny. Yes, a single, ordinary-looking penny. But this ain't just any penny. It's the legendary 1998 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and it's currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2 million. That's right, $2 million for a coin you might have casually tossed into a tip jar or dropped under your car seat. Now, before you sprint to your couch cushions, let me tell you why this coin is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and what to do if you're lucky enough to have one. And hey, if you love hearing about coins that could turn you into a millionaire overnight, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got plenty more where this came from. So, what's the big deal? Why is this penny worth more than some houses? Well, let's rewind a bit. The US Mint produces pennies at multiple locations, and they stamp their coins with a little letter to show where they were made: P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and S for San Francisco. But the 1998 penny in question? It's missing that little letter. No mint mark at all. Poof. Gone. Now, you might be thinking, big deal? Maybe they just forgot? But that's not how the mint rolls. This was a rare printing error, and when it happens, collectors lose their minds. In this case, only a handful of these no mint mark pennies have surfaced, and demand for them is through the roof. Now, let me tell you a little story about how I almost lost my mind looking for one of these bad boys. A few years ago, I heard rumors about this rare penny. So, like any sane person, I dumped out every jar of coins I owned and started searching. I had my magnifying glass, a bright light, and enough coffee to keep a small army awake. I was convinced I was about to strike it rich. Hours later, my wife walked in, saw me buried under a mountain of pennies, and said, "Should I call someone? Are you okay?" Turns out, I was not okay. Because after searching through thousands of pennies, I had found nothing but pocket change. But hey, I learned a valuable lesson. Rare coins are out there, but patience and luck are key. Now, if you want to avoid my fate and actually find this million-dollar penny, here's what to look for. It must be a 1998 penny. That's the golden, or, well, copper, year. Flip it over, look under Lincoln's portrait. If there's no letter, you might be onto something big. The better the condition, the higher the value. If it's shiny and free of scratches, congratulations, you're in the big leagues. Okay, so you've checked your change, and BM. You think you've got the real deal. What next? Seriously, don't go buying a pack of gum with it. Take it to a professional coin dealer or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will confirm if it's legit. If it's verified, congratulations, you're sitting on a fortune. Get that thing to an auction house and prepare for some serious bidding wars. So there you have it, folks. The 1998 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, the coin that could make you a millionaire. Who knew that something so small could be worth so much? And let's be honest, most of us have probably had one of these in our hands at some point without realizing it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more coin hunting tips and tricks. I've got plenty more stories about rare coins, crazy finds, and strategies to help you cash in on your collection. So don't miss out, subscribe now, and let's turn those pennies into paydays. All right, coin lovers, hold on to your seats because this one is going to blow your mind. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, just a regular old 2000 Lincoln penny, only to find out it's worth a jaw-dropping $2.1 million. That's right, $2.1 million. For a penny. You heard me right. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's gotta be some kind of joke. But nope, this is the real deal. And today, I'm going to break down exactly what makes this penny so valuable, how to spot one, and of course, how you can turn your spare change into some serious cash. And trust me, you'll never look at your pocket change the same way again after this. And before we dive in, hit that subscribe button because I've got plenty more coin collecting secrets coming your way, and you don't want to miss out. All right, let's get into the juicy details. The 2000 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. What's the big deal? First off, let's talk about what makes this penny so rare. Normally, pennies minted in 2000 would have either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. But somehow, a few of these slipped out of the mint without a mint mark at all. Now, usually, a missing mint mark might not mean much. But in this case, it turned into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot for a lucky few collectors. Now, the million-dollar question. How did this happen? Well, it's believed that a small batch of pennies were struck using experimental dies that weren't supposed to be used for circulation. They got mixed in with the regular pennies and made their way into everyday transactions. Fast forward to today, and only a handful of these ultra-rare coins have been discovered. So, how do you know if you've got one? Great question. Check right below the date. If there's no P or D, you might have hit the jackpot. These pennies have a sharper, more defined look because of the special dyes used. While they look like regular pennies, some of them have slight variations in weight, making them even rarer. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, I was at a flea market, digging through a random jar of coins. You know, the kind people sell for a few bucks, thinking they're just pocket change. And boom, I spotted a 2000 penny that looked different. My heart started racing. No mint mark. Sharp details. I thought, no way. No way did I just stumble onto a fortune. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and checked every last detail. Unfortunately, it wasn't the $1 million one, but I did find a different valuable penny worth a couple $100. Not too shabby for a random flea market find, right? The moral of the story? Always check your change. You never know when you might be holding on to a small fortune. So, let's talk numbers. Just how much is this rare penny worth today? Well, in 2024, one of these bad boys sold at auction for a mind-blowing $2.1 million. And that's not just a fluke. With collectors going wild over rare errors and misprints, the demand for this penny has skyrocketed. If you happen to find one, you're looking at life-changing money. Even if you don't have the exact $1 million version, there are plenty of other valuable pennies from the same era that could still net you a nice payday. Some of them go for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their condition and rarity. All right, folks, now you know. That seemingly ordinary 2000 Lincoln penny in your pocket? It could be worth more than a mansion. So, next time you get change at the store, don't just shove those pennies into a jar, take a closer look. You never know when you might be sitting on a hidden fortune. And if you love learning about rare coins and big money finds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting secrets, collecting tips, and money-making strategies coming your way. And trust me, you don't want to miss them. So go check your pennies and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. Who knows? The next millionaire might just be watching this video. All right, folks, let me ask you a question. When was the last time you actually looked at your pocket change? I mean, really looked at it. Not just to see if you had enough for a coffee, but to see if you were holding a small fortune in your hands. Well, today we're talking about a single penny. Yes, a 1-cent coin. That's worth a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. And guess what? It's not made of gold. It's not encrusted with diamonds. It's just a plain old 1964 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Or is it? Stick around because by the time we're done, you'll be raiding your couch cushions like a pirate hunting for buried treasure. Now, before we get into the juicy details, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, rummaging through a box of old coins. You know, the kind that smells like history and mystery? I found a handful of pennies, and the seller told me, hey, some of those might be worth big bucks. I laughed it off, because, let's be real, how often does that actually happen? Turns out, one of those pennies was from 1964. And while it wasn't the jackpot coin we're talking about today, it made me realize something. There is treasure hiding in plain sight. So, what makes this particular 1964 no mint mark Lincoln penny worth $2.2 million? Let's break it down. Most 1964 Lincoln pennies were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But here's the kicker. Some were struck using experimental planchets or with slight minting errors that make them incredibly valuable. One of the key things collectors look for is a high-grade example, meaning a coin that's in near-perfect condition. If you've got a 1964 penny that looks like it just came off the press, you might want to grab a magnifying glass. Normally, Philadelphia pennies don't have a mint mark, so you might be wondering, what's the big deal? Well, in this case, some of these pennies were struck on special planchets or were part of a very limited run, making them unicorns in the coin collecting world. And as we all know, the rarer something is, the higher its value. This brings us to the record-breaking moment when one of these 1964 no-mint mark pennies sold for an eye-watering $2.2 million at auction. Imagine the seller's reaction. They probably started off thinking, oh, just another penny, and ended up celebrating like they hit the lottery. Now, before you start spending that imaginary fortune, remember, condition is everything. If your penny has been through the washing machine one too many times, it's probably not in the millionaire club. If Lincoln's face looks like he just got a fresh haircut, that's a good sign. If your penny looks like it's been run over by a truck, chances are it's not worth much. Look for doubling on the lettering or any strange marks. These can skyrocket the value. If you think you have a winner, take it to a professional coin grading service. They'll tell you if you're sitting on a gold mine or just a really old penny.so. What's the takeaway here? Well, first, always check your change. That penny you just tossed on the counter at the gas station? It could be worth more than your car. Second, if you have old coins lying around, take a closer look. You never know what you might find. And third, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that are worth real money, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin in your pocket. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next one I tell. All right, folks, listen up. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing it's worth more than a brand new Ferrari. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, not today. Because in this video, we're talking about a 2011 D. Abraham Lincoln penny that's worth a jaw-dropping $2.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. One single penny that could make you a millionaire. So before you toss that spare change into the couch cushions, you might want to check what you've got. I'm about to break down why this coin is so insanely valuable, how you can spot one, and of course, my own little story about the time I almost had a fortune in my hands but let it slip away. So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into the world of pennies worth millions. First things first, what makes this 2011 D penny worth so much? It's not just any ordinary penny, it's an error coin. That's right, a good OL minting mistake that turned a basic 1-cent piece into a collector's dream. Here's what happened. Back in 2011, the Denver Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, but somewhere in the chaos of coin production, a few pennies came out with a major error. Instead of being struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchet, this particular penny was struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, possibly a silver dime blank. That means it's the wrong weight, the wrong material, and the wrong coin altogether. Talk about an identity crisis. Now, how do you know if you've got one of these bad boys in your collection? Well, you'll want to start with these simple checks. A normal 2011 D penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly different, like closer to 2.7 grams or even lighter, you might be holding a gold mine. Since pennies aren't supposed to be magnetic, but some error coins have unusual metals, this quick check can be a good clue. Does it look different? Off-colored? Unusually shiny? Any oddities in the rim or thickness? Those little details matter. If you think you've got something special, don't just eyeball it. Get it professionally graded and authenticated. A certified grading service like PCGS or NGC can tell you if your penny is a real deal or just a regular old cent. All right. Now let's get into my personal experience, and trust me, this one still stings. Years ago, before I knew what I was doing, I found a weird-looking penny in my change. It looked a bit different, but instead of taking a closer look, what did I do? I threw it in a Coinstar machine with the rest of my change. Yep, I might have sent a rare, valuable penny into the abyss of the supermarket coin counter. To this day, I sometimes lie awake at night wondering if I casually gave away $1 million coin for a few bucks in store credit. Moral of the story? Check your change, people, and speaking of value, the current market for this 2011 D error penny is wild. One verified specimen recently sold at auction for a staggering $2.3 million. That's the kind of money that can buy you a mansion, a yacht, and still leave you enough cash to never worry about grocery prices again. The coin market is booming, and rare errors like this one are skyrocketing in value. So, if you're into collecting, now's the time to start searching. Whether it's your piggy bank, your grandma's old coin jar, or even those random pennies on the ground, every single one could be a hidden jackpot. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, that's a wrap on today's coin adventure. We talked about the 2011 D Lincoln penny, how a simple minting mistake turned it into a multi-million-dollar rarity, and how you could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. If you found this video helpful, or if you're now frantically checking your change, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you want more tips, tricks, and deep dives into coins worth money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You never know, the next video might just help you find a coin that changes your life. All right, folks, buckle up because today we're talking about a humble little penny that could change your life. Imagine digging through your pocket change, thinking you've only got a few cents to your name, and BM, you find a 1988 D Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $2.4 million. That's right, $2.4 million. If that doesn't make you want to raid your couch cushions, I don't know what will. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just become a millionaire from spare change. Now, before we dive in, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a flea market, casually browsing through some old coin collections, when I spotted a jar labeled Random Pennies, 25 cents each. A penny for 25 cents? What a deal, right? But something caught my eye. One of those pennies had a slightly off-looking mint mark. I wasn't sure what it was at the time, but I had a gut feeling, so I bought it. Turns out, it wasn't the jackpot 1988 D, but it was a rare error coin worth a couple $100. That was the moment I realized. Everyday people like you and me could strike it rich just by knowing what to look for. Now, let's get down to business. What makes the 1988 D Lincoln penny so valuable? It's all about the mint mark and a tiny, almost imperceptible error that most people overlook. The 1988 D penny was struck in Denver, and on the surface, it looks like any other ordinary coin. But if you take a closer look, preferably with a magnifying glass, you might notice something unusual about the FG initials on the reverse side, right near the Lincoln Memorial. The font on some of these pennies was accidentally struck with the wrong design, creating what's known as the transitional reverse error. Look at the FG initials. If they appear in the style of a 1989 penny rather than the standard 1988 design, you've hit the jackpot. Step 3. Try not to faint. But wait, there's more. Condition plays a huge role in value. A circulated penny with this error might still be worth a couple $100, but if you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, that's when you start seeing numbers in the millions. The $2.4 million price tag comes from a near-perfect specimen graded MS-69, almost flawless in every way. So, if you've got a shiny 1988 D penny sitting around, it might be time to send it off for professional grading. Now, you might be wondering, okay, but how many of these are out there? The truth is, nobody knows for sure. That's what makes it so exciting. Most of these rare finds end up in circulation, hiding in plain sight in your piggy bank, under your car seat, or even in that random drawer where you toss your spare change. I mean, think about it. How many times have you spent a penny without even looking at it? If you're like me, probably thousands of times. Well, that stops today. From now on, every penny deserves a second glance. All right, folks, now that you know the secret to spotting a multi-million-dollar penny, it's time to put this knowledge to the test. Check your pockets, raid your coin jars, and start inspecting those 1988 D pennies like your financial future depends on it. Because, well, it just might. And hey, if you do happen to find one, don't forget who told you about it. Feel free to drop a comment, send me a message, or just casually invite me to your yacht party when you cash in that $2.4 million payday. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth serious money. I've got plenty more treasure hunting secrets coming your way, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. All right, folks, gather around because today we're talking about a tiny little penny that could turn your pocket change into a fortune. That's right, the 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And not just any penny, one that's worth a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A single penny that's worth more than a mansion, a Ferrari, and probably your entire coin collection combined. Now, before you start flipping over every penny in your couch cushions, let's break this down. What makes this penny so special? How can you tell if you have one? And most importantly, what would you do if you found one? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just be a millionaire, or at least a little richer in knowledge. First off, let's talk about what makes this coin unique. Normally, pennies from 1968 were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Denver and San Francisco pennies have a little D or S under the date. But the Philadelphia pennies? No mint mark. That's normal. However, there's a rare error where a 1968 penny that should have a mint mark doesn't. This error happened because the die mint for Denver or San Francisco accidentally missed getting its mark. Boom. A rarity was born. Now, let's be real. If every 1968 no mint mark penny were worth $2.5 million, we'd all be retired by now. But this particular one? It's got everything going for it: mint condition, a major error, and the kind of hype that sends collectors into a frenzy. Rarity is king in the coin world, and this penny is basically the king of the castle. Checking your pennies. If you find a 1968 penny with no mint mark, don't get too excited just yet. You'll need to check a few things. Is it shiny? crisp, and free of scratches? The better the condition, the higher the value. A true missing mint mark error is verified by experts. So don't start spending that imaginary fortune just yet. If you think you have one, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks know their stuff. Imagine this. You find a 1968 no mint mark penny. You confirm it's real. You send it in, and boom, it's valued at $2.5 million. What do you do next, me? I'd probably freak out, call everyone I know, then promptly drop it down a storm drain because that's just my luck. But for real, would you sell it right away, hold onto it hoping the value increases, or put it in a safe and stare at it every night like Gollum and his precious? Let me know in the comments what you do, because I'm genuinely curious. All right, my fellow coin hunters, that's the story of the 1968 no mint mark penny worth a life-changing amount of money. If you learned something new today, hit that like button. It's free, unlike this penny. And if you want more tips on spotting rare coins, understanding coin collecting strategies, and maybe, just maybe, finding your own hidden fortune, subscribe to the channel. Who knows? Your next handful of pocket change might just have $1 million surprise. What if I told you that you could have a penny in your pocket worth a mind-blowing $2.6 million? That's right. Today we're talking about the legendary 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a little copper coin that could buy you a mansion. So, before you toss that spare change into a vending machine, you might want to double-check your pennies. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this penny so valuable and how you can potentially find one yourself. All right, let's dive into the details. The 1967 Lincoln penny is a fascinating coin, and here's why. Back in '67, the U.S. Mint was trying to reduce the frenzy of coin collecting, so they made the unusual decision to leave mint marks off all coins that year. That means whether your penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, there's no way to tell just by looking at it. But that's not what makes this one so special. Now, what makes the 1967 Lincoln penny worth a jaw-dropping $2.6 million? It's all about errors and rarity. There's a small batch of these pennies that were struck on rare experimental planchets, basically, a different kind of metal that the mint was testing out. Instead of the usual copper alloy, some were struck on pure copper, while others were accidentally pressed on silver blanks. These errors are insanely rare, which is why collectors are willing to shell out millions for the right one. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market digging through an old coin collection when I found a 1967 penny that looked different. The color was off, and it had a strange texture. I got excited, thinking I'd just hit the jackpot. I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass, and started comparing it to known error coins. Turns out, it was just a dirty old penny. My millionaire dreams were crushed, but hey, at least I got a good laugh out of it. Moral of the story? Always check your change, but don't quit your day job until you get it verified. Now, how do you know if you've got one of these rare pennies? First, check the weight. A normal Lincoln penny from 1967 should weigh about 3.11 grams, but the error coins can be lighter or heavier depending on the metal used. If yours seems off, get a jeweler's scale and measure it. Next, examine the color. A silver-like shine or an unusual tone could mean you have a rare variety. And finally, always get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC before getting too excited. If you're wondering how to find one, your best bet is searching through old coin rolls, checking estate sales, or even asking your grandparents if they have any old change lying around. Who knows? You might just uncover a life-changing treasure in the bottom of an old piggy bank. All right, folks, now you know what to look for and how to check if you've got a golden, well, copper ticket. The 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny is proof that hidden gems are still out there, waiting to be discovered. And who knows? The next millionaire coin could be sitting in your pocket right now. Before you go, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos on coins worth money. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin finds coming your way. And if you've ever found a rare or valuable coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. All right, folks, picture this. You're digging through your pocket change, looking for a quarter to feed the parking meter, and BM, you see a penny. Nothing special, right? Just another Lincoln cent, probably worth, well, a cent. But what if I told you that one of these little copper beauties, specifically a 1961 D Lincoln penny, is worth a mind-blowing $2.7 million? Yep, you heard that right. Today, we're diving deep into this rare and valuable coin, how to spot it, and most importantly, how you might already have one hiding in your collection. Now, let me start with a little personal story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, sifting through an old shoebox full of coins. The vendor swore there was nothing valuable in there, just some pocket change from over the years. But guess what? I found a 1955 double-die penny in there, worth hundreds. That moment made me realize just how many hidden treasures are out there if you know what to look for. And that brings us to today's star, the 1961 D. Lincoln Penny.So. Why is this coin worth $2.7 million? Well, let's break it down. First, the 1961 D. Lincoln Penny was minted in Denver, meaning it has a small D mint mark below the date. But here's the kicker, not all of them are special. The one worth millions has a rare error that makes it a collector's dream. Experts believe that a small batch of these coins were struck with a double die or some unique variation that makes them incredibly valuable. Check Lincoln's profile and the lettering. If you see any signs of doubling, you might be holding gold or, well, copper gold. The higher the grade, the higher the value. If it looks like it just left the mint, you might have something special. Some rare coins have off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, or even planchet errors that make them highly desirable. Now, you're probably wondering, where can you find one of these? Well, check your piggy banks, old coin jars, and even rolls of pennies from the bank. You'd be surprised how many rare coins slip through the cracks, and let's talk about market value. While most 1961 D pennies are worth, well, a penny, the rare error variety has been valued at a jaw-dropping $2.7 million in pristine condition. Why so much? Because collectors go absolutely nuts for unique, one-of-a-kind coins. It's like finding a Picasso at a garage sale.So. What's the takeaway here? That penny in your couch cushions could be your ticket to an early retirement. Make sure to check your change, visit coin shops, and educate yourself on what makes a coin valuable. Who knows, you might be the next lucky collector to stumble upon a multi-million-dollar treasure. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on finding coins worth money, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin in the wild.